Hey there, welcome to this week of the Connected Life. I don't know if you've ever felt disconnected from your kids, but this week we are going to tackle that of those times where, as a parent, you feel like you're just not quite resonating, not quite connecting well with your children. We're going to cover a coaching session that I did and how we help somebody to break through when they felt disconnected to their child. So stay tuned. Okay, so during this session, this coaching session that I had, the idea is she came in and said we got down to kind of a core issue that she was feeling disconnected from her child. Her child was a teenager, and she was just feeling like she wasn't, they were disconnected. And so I'll just mention the process that I went through to help her to discover why I named the book Finding Magic in the Mess. We're going to help to flush out and find magic in the mess of feeling disconnected. So here's essentially the process that we went through. So she has a daughter who is 16 years of age, and she's feeling disconnected from her. And so I started to ask her where she was actually feeling connected to her. So over the last couple months, give me a few examples of when you felt really connected to her. So we rhymed off a handful of examples, about 10 examples of when she felt really connected with her daughter. So we had these examples that were rhymed off here. So she was feeling disconnected, but I had her go in and start to identify where she was actually feeling connected to her. And so as we started to identify where she was feeling connected, what started to come about, which I thought was really interesting, I said, well, what are you concluding right now from these moments of connection? And she said, well, what I'm noticing is that the quantity of time is going down. So the quantity of time is going down. But what she also noticed is the quality of our interaction was going up. So what was happening is she was thinking about the past and how the past relationship used to be, which is when she was younger, not a teenager, but when she was younger, she was binding to the idea that their relationship consisted of a certain definition of quantity of time. So they had more quantity of time, but less quality of time. So there was an increase in quantity, but the quality was a little bit lower. And when you are living with someone with a high quantity of time, oftentimes you're taking someone for granted, or you're going to watch TV, or you're in your room. So there's actually, if you look at the amount of quality time that's spent, it may not be actually that high. You have a lot of quantity, but maybe a medium to low quality of time in terms of the amount of qualities that are actually spent in that quantity of time. What she noticed as the relationship was transitioning was really now through these examples that the quantity of time was going down, but the quality of their interactions was actually going up. So their relationship was transforming. Now, she also let me know that this young lady had aspirations of doing some world travel. So we have to know that that's partly in her daughter's future. Well, if you just kind of take a look at what's happening, is that they had a relationship that was established with high quantity, lower quality, and in this moment right now where she was feeling disconnected, what was happening is she was disconnecting from the old way they used to do a relationship, and they were moving and starting to develop a skill set on a new relationship dynamic. And as that new relationship dynamic was being established, it's partly preparing them for a future relationship in which they might have minimal interactions, but they're going to need to have high quality. And if she just went from this to this, there would be grief, loss. Where'd my daughter go? I don't know who she is. She's gone. So there would be a high stress pattern associated with that. But you can see that her life is bringing her through a nice transition zone where they could develop a new skill set, a new relationship. They could learn and nurture how do we relate, how do we be mother-daughter and get value in our relationship if our quantity of time is decreasing. So she realized not only are that they're still connected, but they're just connecting in a new way of relating, and they're developing a skill set that's going to allow them to have an even more successful relationship when there's even less quantity of time down the road. So I wanted you to share, because sometimes we feel disconnected from our children, but oftentimes the connection is really just in a form that we're not seeing, and it feels like we're disconnected, but really there's connections that are happening. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you're feeling disconnected, identify what a new way that you're starting to connect with your child is, and see how that new connection is actually serving your future moving forward. Because if we're wanting our children to be independent, that means that we're going to have less quantity of time with them, but we want to up the quality of time. That's what this woman's life was demonstrating. And again, she was just interpreting it that she was disconnected, but in reality, she's still connected, just in a new way that's going to serve both of them in their future. So hopefully this helps for parents that sometimes feel disconnected from their children. Identify where you're already connected and how that's actually serving your future life with your child, and hopefully that helps. So we do this partly in our coaching. This again is why I named the book Finding Magic in the Mess. Part of what I do is to help people to find the magic in the apparent disorder or disconnection and see what exactly is happening. That's part of the connected life. That's part of being connected. And we do that at the Illumination Day. We do that in my coaching. So just wanted to share that with you, and hopefully that's helpful. So we'll see you next week on The Connected Life.